I welcome you to today's lesson. My name is Paul Williams Ofori Jr. Today we have science for basic 6. So if you are in basic 6, please pay attention. Those who are not in basic 6, this topic is very important. So pay attention and be part of the lesson. Okay, so what is the topic for today? We are looking at symbols of a circuit diagram. Symbols of a circuit diagram. Symbols of a circuit diagram. So today's lesson is about circuit diagram. Have you heard about circuit diagram before? Yes, I know you have heard about it before. Mostly we see symbols. We see symbols and the meaning of these symbols or what these symbols stand for. Sometimes we find it difficult to tell. So today we are going to look at the symbols that we can find in circuit diagram, the meaning of all the symbols, or what these symbols stands for, and the role or the functions that they perform. So pay attention, and I believe you enjoyed the lesson. Okay, so let's look at the keywords. The first word is symbol. Symbols. 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 We have these components. 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 This word is parallel. 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 We have here series. 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 The next one is terminal. 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 So these are the words that we will find in the lesson. Now, in our previous lesson, we learned about an electric circuit. We learned about the components of an electric circuit. Today's lesson is a continuation of the previous lesson. So please, don't think about something that we have not even learned. Think about the things that we have learned. Just our previous lesson, we learned something about an electric circuit. We saw the components of an electric circuit. Today we are going to look at the components, the symbols for each component in an electric circuit. Okay, so that is what we are going to do. Let's continue. The basic components of an electric circuit are the battery or dry cell, connecting wires, bulb or LED, and switch or key. So there are 4 basic parts or components of an electric circuit. They are battery or dry cell, we have LED or bulb, we have connecting wire, then we have switch, which is also called key. Okay, so what is a circuit diagram? A circuit diagram is a drawing. Listen, a circuit diagram is a drawing that shows how electrical components are connected in a circuit using symbols. So it is a drawing. One, circuit diagram. If you are asked to draw a circuit diagram, you are expected to draw something. It's a drawing. So you draw something. And then what you have to show is that all the components, don't draw the component, don't draw a bulb, don't draw battery, don't draw wire, don't draw the rest, but rather use their symbols for them. So a circuit diagram is a drawing that shows how electrical components are connected in a circuit using their symbols. So we are going to look at all the components and their symbols. Okay. The first one is a dry cell or battery. So if you look at this is a symbol. Have you seen it? This is a symbol. So anytime you see this symbol, you see this side is shorter, this is longer. So if you look at this and this, you see that they are not the same. This is taller than this, but there is space here. This symbol is what? Dry cell. This is how dry cell is represented. So we use this symbol for dry cell. Now let's look at symbol for battery. You see, we have one here, the same thing here. So this is one cell, another cell. In our previous lesson, we learned that battery is a group of what? Cells. A battery is a group of cells. Or when you have two or more dry cells connected, when you have two or more dry cells connected, we get what? Battery. So you see, this is one dry cell, this is another dry cell, but because they are connected, we have battery here. Here, look at the number of spaces, only one space between this and this. But when they come here, we have one space, another space here. So this tells you that this side is one cell, this side too is another cell. But because they are connected, they form what? Battery. So now, if you are to differentiate between the two, what you should know is that this has two dry cells, this has only one. And because two dry cells are connected, we form battery. So look at it well. I will draw something like this and I'll ask you the symbol, the meaning of this symbol. So if you look at this and you tell me that it is dry cell, I'll mark you wrong. This is rather a dry cell. This is a battery. Okay, let's look at what we have here. So the long bar is a positive terminal or end, and the short bar is the negative terminal or end. So you see, batteries have positive and negative. This is a battery. So there is plus at one side, there is negative at another side. So where we have the plus is the positive terminal, where we have the minus is the negative terminal. Okay, so here the positive terminal is a longer side, or the longer side here, and then the shorter side here is a negative. So when you come here to, this is the positive terminal, this is a negative terminal, this is a positive terminal, this is a negative terminal. Okay, so this is battery, this is dry cell. Now let's look at the next component, switch or key. So if you are drawing switch, remember that we don't draw the actual switch, we use symbol. The symbol for switch is this and this. They are all the same thing, but there is a difference. Now, I told you that the switch controls the entire circuit. So if the switch is open, this is how it looks like. You see the gap here. So it tells you that this switch is what? Open. But if it is closed, you see this side is connected to the other end. So there is no space between them. So we say this is closed, this is open. And if all parts or components are connected and the switch is closed, the bulb will produce light. But if all parts are connected and the switch is open, because there is a gap here, the bulb cannot produce any light. So this is an open switch and this is what? Closed switch. Look at the difference. So if I ask you to draw a circuit diagram and show that the bulb is producing light, I expect that you draw something where the switch will be closed, because if the switch is not closed, there is no way the bulb will produce light. So let's read what we have here. When there is a gap, it is open, and when there is no gap, it is closed. An open switch turns off the bulb, but a closed switch turns on the bulb. So if the bulb is open, if the switch is opened, the bulb will not give or produce any light. But if the switch is closed, where there is no gap, you see that the bulb will produce light. Okay, so let's look at the next one. The next one is bulb, which is the same as LED. I mean, the work that they do, they produce light. They convert the electrical current into light. Now here, this is a symbol for bulb. Look at it. Symbol for bulb. So if you are drawing a bulb, in a circuit diagram, this is how you should draw it. Look at it. Now let's come to this side. This is lead. Have you seen lead? Look at the sign here. So this is a symbol for lead. This is a symbol for lead. Okay. So look at the difference. This one has X in what? In a circle, and then you have X. But here, you don't have it like that. Look at it. So try to know the difference. You should be able to differentiate between lead and bulb. Now connecting wire. This is connecting wire. Okay. Now, this thing is very important. I want us to pay attention here. A simple circuit diagram. So this is a simple circuit diagram. This is another simple circuit diagram. Why is it a simple circuit diagram? It's a diagram because it is a drawing that is showing an electric circuit with symbols. With what? Symbols. So here, this is a symbol. This is a symbol. This is also what? A symbol. Let me enlarge it. So that is why we call it what? Electric circuit diagram. We call it circuit diagram because all the parts are represented by, or all the components are represented by symbols. So look at this symbol. Look at this symbol. Look at this symbol. And then this one. Now, let's try to identify the symbols here. Which part is this? Yes. Which component is this? Which component is this one? Which component is this one? And then this side, which component is it? Let me come to this side. So the same thing is here. Now, this is a symbol, this is a symbol, this is a symbol, this is a symbol. So the circuits, all the components, we don't see the actual components, but rather we see symbols for the component. Now let's try to identify the meaning of these symbols. The first one here, which component is this? Which component is this one? This is battery. Why is it a battery? Not a dry cell. It is a battery because it has two dry cells. So look at one dry cell here. This is one dry cell, and this is another one dry cell. So you see two dry cells that have been connected. So that is why this is called what? Battery. If it was only this one, then you say it is dry cell. But because you have two dry cells, this is what? Battery. Now let's come to this side. Oh, there's another one here. So this one. This is a connecting wire or connecting wires. So that symbol. Now let's come to this side. What symbol is this? This is the key. Another name for the key is what? Switch. Now this side. What is the name for this symbol? This symbol is bulb. Why is it a bulb but not lead? If you look at the symbol, this is how bulb looks like, or this is a symbol for bulb. Okay, so these are the components with their symbols. The components with their symbols, and we call this circuit diagram. Circuit diagram is a drawing that shows the various components of an electric circuit by showing their what? Symbols. So here this is an electric circuit, but Rather, we are not using the actual drawing of the component, but we are using the symbols for all the components. That is why we have this as battery, we have this as connecting wire, we have this as key or switch, we have this as bulb. I hope you understand it. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back. The same thing is here. This is also a diagram. Let's look at the components. So, what's the name of this symbol? What is the name of this symbol? What is the name of this symbol? And then this side. This side. What's the name? This side. So let's look at the symbols. So what symbol is this one? We have positive, negative. So what comes into your mind? Is it battery or dry cell? This is dry cell because we have only one here. Okay, so this is dry cell. The first one that we looked at, it was battery. We had two dry cells, but here we have only one, the positive and the negative. Okay, so this is dry cell. Then what we see here is key or what? Switch. This is key or switch. And then we have here connecting wire. And this is bulb. Now, I want to show you something. If you look at this one, you see the bulb is on. Why is it on? It is on because the switch is closed. So this is a closed circuit. This is what? A closed circuit. So a diagram of a closed circuit. So if you are asked to draw a diagram, a circuit diagram, and show that it is closed, this is how you do it. Always this side, the switch, you need to close the switch. If you close the switch, what happens to the bulb? It will produce lights. So that is why we have this color here. Inside the bulb, you see color in it. Now let's go back and let me show you something. Let's compare these two. You see the bulb here and the bulb here. What do you have inside this? There is no color in this, but here there is color in it. What do you see here? Here there is a gap. There is a gap here, but here there is no gap. Because here there is a gap, this switch is opened. But because here there is no gap, this switch is closed. And closed switch produces what? Closed switch produces light. The bulb will produce light. Not the switch, or the bulb will rather produce what? Light. But open switch, the bulb will not produce light. So this is what? Diagram of an open circuit. Diagram of a closed circuit. So the difference is that one produces light because the switch is closed. The other one does not produce light because the switch is open. So this is what you should know. Now here, another thing that I want to show you. This is a battery. This is a dry cell. The difference is that here we have two dry cells, but here we have only one dry cell. So one dry cell is a dry cell, but two dry cells is what? Battery. If you want to know the dry cell, we have positive, negative, making one. We have another positive, negative, making two. That is why this, we say we have two here. But when you come here, we have only one positive, one negative. But here we have one positive, another positive here. We have one negative, another negative here. So 2, 2, but here we have 1, 1. That is why this is battery. This is what? Dry cell. I've told you that two dry cells, straight dry cells will give you battery. But here we have only what? One. Okay. So if it is one, it is dry cell. Now let's continue. Simple circuit connection. simple circuit connection. So we are looking at how connection is done in a simple circuit. So there are two ways of connecting a simple circuit. They are: one, series connection; two, parallel connection. So let's look at the series connection. So the series connections, in series connection, the components are connected end to end in the same line to form a single path. So the component, these are the components, and look at how they are connected. One end connected to this, what, in a single what, line, or in the same line. So you see the same line, all the components are connected. Let's look at the other one, parallel. So the parallel connection, in parallel connection, the components are not connected end to end in the same line to form a single path. It provides two or more paths for the current to flow. So if you look at this, the symbols are here, the symbols are here, one is here, one is here. You see, they are not in the same line. So this is why this is parallel. Parallel means the lines, they do not meet. Look at this, look at this. So parallel means lines that do not what? Meet. Lines that do not meet. So parallel connection, this is how it is done. If you compare the two, you can see that all these are bulbs. They are on the same line. If you come to this side, this bulb is on different line, this bulb too is on another line. And it tells you that they are not in the same line. So this is parallel, but this one is series. So that is that. In summary, what have you learned today? We have learned that all the components of an electric circuit are represented by electric symbols. A circuit diagram is a diagram that shows how electrical components are connected in a circuit using symbols. We have learned the series and the parallel connection. So that is the end of our lesson. We will look at the exercises, don't worry. But you should understand that today we have learned about a circuit diagram. So in this lesson, or the lesson that we just learned, we saw that the components, we did not draw the actual components of the circuits. We use symbols for them, and we have seen the symbols for the basic parts or components of a circuit. We have seen the symbol for connecting wire, symbol for bulb, symbol for LED, symbol for key, symbol for switch, or symbol for switch or key. We have seen symbols for bulb or LED, and we have also seen symbol for battery and dry cell. So these are the things that today we have learned, and we have also seen that the connection, it could be parallel, it could be what? Series. So this is what I expect you to, tell people if you are asked about the things that you have learned today. Okay, now let's look at the exercises. So exercise 1 is just here. Exercise 1 is here. So look at this. You are to write a name for this. What do we have here? We have A, we have B, we have A, we have B, we have C, we have D. So you are to provide answers, and then you answer these questions too. Okay, we have exercise 2, and then we have home assignment 1, home assignment 2. That is what you should do today for me. So you've seen the exercises and the home assignments. Take your time and do them. They are simple and easy. I know you can answer all of them. If you find any, or if you encounter any challenges, feel free. Get connected and reach out to me, and then we will talk. Your parents are there, your teachers are there. They will help you understand it. My name is Paul Williams, but before you go, let me tell you something. Our books are good though. Get copies of these books. Read. It comes with video. So the lesson, the video lesson, we have all of them in the book. You just have to take your phone, scan the QR code, and then you have your lesson. So each indicator has its own lesson. So amazing. So you can read a book. If you read a book and you don't understand, don't worry. Watch the video lesson. It will explain everything to you. This is why you need to get a copy of Kokromoti series. We have science from basic 1 to basic 6. Apart from science, we have Ghanaian language, Asante Tree and the Captain Tree from basic 1 up to basic 6. Get copies for yourself. It will really help you. Our videos are on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. Go there, watch our videos, share the link, help us so that we grow together. My name once again is Paul Ramsofori. Bye-bye.